Top 12 manual testing interview questions and real world answers for 2025. QA tester must know guide. Hi, in this video, all the interview questions that I prepared are specifically focused on manual testing. They are designed to reflect the latest industry trends in 2025 and cover areas such as real world testing practices, modern application types like AI, PWA, chatbots, then cross platform and internationalization testing, agile methodologies, communication and reporting skills. Tools like Postman, Jira, and BrowserStack are often used during manual testing. If you are interested, I can also create a separate video focused on automation testing interview questions, including tools like Selenium, API automation, and testing frameworks such as TestNG, JUnit, or Cucumber. Would you like to see that next? Let me know in the comments below. Question 1. How do you test AI integrated features in a web application? Expected answer: focus on user inputs, expected outputs, boundary cases, and ethical behaviors. Validate AI decisions against expected logic and check for explainability. I am going to explain it to you for easy understanding. Let's say the web app has an AI chatbot that recommends products based on what the user types. Here is how you would test it. You give different user inputs like I want a laptop under $1,000 or suggest me a phone with good battery life. Then you check if the AI output makes sense. Is it showing laptops under $1,000? Is it suggesting phones with good reviews for battery? Next, you try boundary cases like giving incomplete input, cheap laptop, or weird input and see how the AI handles it. It shouldn't crash. You also check for bias or ethical issues. For example, does it unfairly suggest only certain brands? And finally, you test explainability. Can the AI explain why it recommended a specific product? So basically, when testing AI, don't just check if it works, check how and why it works too. Question 2. How do you test a progressive web app PWA? Expected answer is test offline functionality, add to home screen feature, responsiveness, caching behavior, and cross browser compatibility. I'm going to explain this for easy understanding with an example. Let's say you are testing a food delivery PWA like Swiggy or Zomato. Here is how you might approach it. First, test offline functionality. Open the app, browse a few pages, then turn off the internet. Do the pages you visited earlier still display? That indicates caching is working properly. Second, test the Add to Home Screen feature. Can you install the app on your phone's home screen directly from the browser? Does it open in full screen like a native app? Third, check responsiveness. Open the app on a mobile, tablet, and desktop. Does it look and perform well across different screen sizes? Fourth, test caching behavior. Make a small backend change like updating an image or price. Does the app reflect the new content or is it stuck showing the old cached version? Fifth, check cross browser compatibility. Try it on Chrome, Firefox, Safari. Is it consistent across all browsers? In short, PWAs should feel like real apps, work offline, load quickly, and perform well across devices and browsers. Question 3. What is the role of API testing in modern QA, even for manual testers? Expected answer: validating backend functionality, ensuring data consistency and error handling, Manual testers can use tools like Postman to test endpoints. I am going to explain it to you for easy understanding with example. Imagine you are testing an e-commerce website like Amazon. When a user clicks place order, it looks simple on the front end, but behind the scenes, the app is calling several APIs. One API checks product availability, another calculates shipping costs, another processes the payment. As a manual tester, you can use Postman to test these APIs without using the UI. For example, you send a request to the order API with the product ID and quantity. You check if the response returns the correct total price, user info, and status code 200. That is success. You also check how the system handles invalid inputs like ordering zero quantity or an out of stock item. This ensures the backend is reliable even if the UI looks fine. So, even without automation, manual testers play a big role in API testing, especially when bugs are not visible on the UI but are in the data or responses. Question 4. How do you handle frequently changing requirements during testing? Expected answer. Keep tests modular, maintain clear communication with stakeholders, document changes in test cases, and use tools like Jira for traceability. Question 5. What is the difference between exploratory testing and ad hoc testing? Simplified answer. Exploratory testing is more structured even though it is not fully scripted. You work within a time limit and follow a clear goal or focus area like testing, login, or checkout. Ad hoc testing is more random and informal, usually done without any plan or notes. Question 6. How do you test dark mode implementation in an application? Expected answer is check color contrast, readability, consistency across components, and switch behavior between themes. I am going to explain it to you for easy understanding with example. Let's say you are testing a mobile banking app that recently added a dark mode feature. As a QA, you don't just check if the background turns dark, your job is to check are texts still readable? Example white text on black background, is it too bright or too dull? Do icons and buttons still look clear and consistent? When you switch from light to dark mode and back, does everything update correctly or do some screens stay stuck? Does it work properly across all pages, home screen, settings, transaction history, etc.? You also want to make sure it looks right on different devices or screen sizes. Dark mode is not just about style, it's about accessibility and user comfort, especially for people using apps at night. Question 7. How would you approach testing an app with a large international user base? Expected answer is focus on localization, regional settings like currency, date, format, right to left language support, and cultural relevance. I'm going to explain it to you for easy understanding with example. Imagine you are testing an e-commerce app like Amazon that's used in the US, Germany, and Saudi Arabia. As a tester, you need to check does the currency change correctly? That is dollar for US, euro for Germany, SAR for Saudi Arabia. Are date formats correct like month slash date slash year in the US versus date dot month dot year in Germany? For countries like Saudi Arabia, is right to left language like Arabic supported properly? Is the layout flipping correctly? Are the translations accurate and meaningful, not just word by word? Finally, are images or symbols culturally appropriate for each region? You are not just testing text, you are making sure the app feels local for users around the world. Question 8. What's your approach to testing chatbots or voice interfaces?
Expected answer: test varied user inputs, accents for voice, conversation flow, error handling, and fallback messages. I am going to explain it to you for easy understanding with example. When testing a chatbot or a voice assistant, you want to make sure it understands different ways a user might speak or type. You also need to check how it responds when it doesn't understand or when something goes wrong. For example, let's say you are testing a chatbot that helps users track their orders. You should test different ways of asking the same thing. Where is my order? Can I track my delivery? I haven't received my package yet. If it gives the correct response for each, what happens if someone types a spelling mistake or uses slang like where is my order? For voice, test different accents or speaking speeds. Does the bot understand both American and Indian English accents? Also, test what happens when it doesn't understand. Does it give a helpful feedback message like, sorry, I didn't get that? Can you try rephrasing?
Question 9. How do you ensure quality in agile sprints when you have limited testing time? Expected answer is prioritize risk based testing, test early, collaborate with developers, use checklists, and automate where possible. Question 10. What is the difference between test data and test environment? Expected answer. Test data is the information you use during testing, like usernames, passwords, product IDs, or dummy payment details. Basically, anything you enter or use to run your tests. Test environment is the setup or space where your testing actually happens. This includes the operating system, browser, database, server, or mobile device you are using. So think of it like this. Test data is the what you test with. Test environment is the where you test. You need both to run proper tests. One gives you the content and the other gives you the platform. Question 11. How do you perform usability testing without formal UX tools? Expected answer is use heuristics, that is common sense rules, observe real users, analyze task completion, gather qualitative feedback, and prioritize accessibility.
I'm going to explain it to you for easy understanding with example. Even if you don't have fancy tools like heat maps or analytics, you can still check if your app or website is easy to use by using basic smart methods. Example, let's say you are testing a food delivery app. You can ask a friend or team member, someone who is not familiar with the app, to order food. Watch how they use the app. Do they get confused? Are buttons easy to find? Note if they struggle to complete a task like adding an address or payment info. Use your own common sense rules heuristics. For example, are the buttons clearly labeled? Is the font easy to read? Can users go back if they make a mistake? Question 12. How would you report a flaky test result during regression? Or say, what would you do if a test sometimes passes and sometimes fails during regression testing and you are not sure why? A flaky test is a test that gives inconsistent results. It might pass one time and fail the next time, even though nothing changed in the code. This makes it unreliable and hard to trust, especially in regression testing where you are checking that old features still work after changes. Expected answer is reproduce it multiple times, document inconsistencies, and report it as intermittent with possible conditions, highlighting environment influence.
Thanks for watching. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more QA interview tips and real world testing examples. See you in the next video.